Well, you never know what's going to cause the stock to go up. But I think in general, here's what I want to say right now about this wild, like out of the blue increase this morning. Now, to me, it should have happened all weekend. It should have happened in the pre-market. We should have been seeing it from last week's statements by Elon Musk about what's going to happen in Austin, what's going to happen in San Francisco, how we're going to roll this out over the next couple of months and into next year. I mean, it's obvious, okay? But according to the punditry this morning, that it's the fresh reports of a $2 billion deal where Tesla will buy energy storage systems, batteries, and the regular batteries from Samsung over the next 3 years. They're going to buy $2 billion worth of them. Tesla's growth engine, of course, well, the one of the growth engines is the energy storage part, and we've been wondering what the heck is going on, why we're not opening up more facilities, where we're going to get enough batteries, and apparently we're going to get them, a lot of them, from Samsung. The relationship with Samsung is getting stronger and stronger with the deal happening on chips, and there's a lot to report on those chips. I think I need to get Wang back on here, although last night we talked about the data centers in space, but there's more even this morning. I think we get to a little bit of it here later in this morning's show. The overall trade this morning is moving away from bonds and crypto and back into gold, not strongly back into gold, into equities, of course, continuing to go into equities. Polymarket this morning has a 95% chance of Elon's pay package passing. Now, that could also be part of what's going on because that's moved up from 87% to 95% as we're getting more and more people reporting that they're voting yes. Investors Business Daily this morning says the Tesla stock was dropping, which is what it was doing pre-market. Shares are approaching the 470.75 handle entry and early entry at 467. Well, we've passed the $470.75 handle entry. So those who follow Investors Business Daily might be piling in now because we've hit that particular milestone. Mario Nawfel has this morning about the chips and about what we're doing with Samsung. And it says the headline is here that Tesla AI5, not even AI6, AI5, the chip that eats NVIDIA for breakfast. Elon just dropped numbers that make Moore's Law look lazy. The new AI, he gets all, I think all of his writing right now is from the internet. Anyway, Tesla's in-house silicon 40 times faster than the AI4, not 40% faster, 40 times faster. The specs read like sci-fi, 8 times the compute, 9 times the memory, five times the bandwidth, and code paths shrunk from 40 steps to a handful. It's built by Samsung and TSMC, both, and both of those on U.S. soil in Texas and Arizona fabs, with production starting next year. What about the efficiency? Off the charts. 10x, 10 times cheaper per inference than NVIDIA and 3 times more efficient per watt. Meanwhile, FSD 14 is already live, packing 10 times more parameters and hinting at what Elon calls sentient level driving with 14.2. The problem, AI4 is maxed out. The chip is sweating to keep up. I don't know about that. That's a question mark for me. I think if this is from Grok, I think Grok might have that a little bit wrong because we've just been told that they're going to shrink this baby down into AI3. I mean, yeah, AI3 or hardware 3. AI5 fixes that in every leftover chip. It's going straight into Tesla's data centers, the real engine of Elon's AI ambitions, which means by 2026, Tesla cars won't just drive themselves. They'll think circles around every GPU farm in Silicon Valley. Now, the source from all of that was Tesla Oracle, Gear Musk Notebook, let's see, Shift Delete, what? .net. Wow, these are sources I don't normally use. Chamath says about it. He says, Elon had these multiple efforts with Dojo and other stuff. He's just merged it all into one. Now, this is super, super important. if all of this as I just read is true, if it really turns out that we're going to start making these in 2026, because this solidifies dramatically the moat around FSD 14.2 or whatever coming up, 15, et cetera, in terms of the other companies' abilities to even come close. And it also means that we've got a massive lead with regard to Optimus. We already know we've got a lead, but this is a massive lead. Multiple reports this morning on Tesla being off in Norway, sales being off in Norway, Sweden, and Denmark. The drops are so precipitous that it suggests that Berlin might be shipping elsewhere. So when you see these kind of drops, it usually means that it's just a problem with inventories not going into those countries right now. Anyway, but that might have been part of the reason things were down this morning. On the other hand, France was actually up for the second month in a row, if only by 2.9%. So that's the Tesla news this morning, but we've got more. Wait, there's more. Boy, is there more. Lots more. Anyway, this is Randy Kirk. If you haven't bought the book, I don't know what's holding you back. Sales are starting to pick up. We're starting to see, I think we're at 29 five-star reviews now, and one lazy jerk who didn't even read the book. Anyway, so we have one negative review and 29 five-star reviews. Earnings this week. We're going to have, I forgot to mention those last night. I wanted to mention them now. So this week we've got AMD. We've got, we've got McDonald's. We've got Uber. And we've got a lot. So that'll give us, with McDonald's and Uber and AMD, we're going to get a lot of consumer from the Uber and McDonald's will get some of the AI, some continued understanding of the computer industry through the AMD. I feel as though the administration right now should be doing more to spread the message about how great tariffs are. Maybe even the Republican Party should be running ads to let people know, let folks that are at least sophisticated enough to have a clue about how to understand the tariffs. But maybe I've got a list here coming up, the top 10 benefits of tariffs. And these are drawing from President Trump's public statements on tariffs, also from Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent's conversations over the weekend. And they're both starting to give us the transformational impact and how it's affecting policy, what it's going to have, the effect it's going to have on the workers, what it's going to do for strategic, both economic strategy as well as military strategy, and of course, just the overall economic benefits, the benefits to the public treasury, for instance, and to the deficit. Number one, it generates massive government revenue. Tariffs could bring in 300 to 600 billion annually, far exceeding initial estimates, providing a new funding stream without raising domestic taxes. Number two, it reduces federal deficits. Like I just said, it funds tax relief. Revenues can pay down the 37 trillion national debt and support popular programs. I don't think it's going to pay down the national debt, but it will reduce the amount of the deficit, and the other things that are happening will reduce the amounts of the deficit, and so the national debt won't go up as quickly, and maybe eventually we could get into surplus. We'll see. Number three, it reshores manufacturing and creates high-quality, high-paying jobs. By making foreign production less competitive, tariffs incentivize companies to build factories in the U.S., leading to sustained job growth in sectors like auto and tech, with income taxes from these jobs adding to the tariff revenue over time. Now we got number four, it boosts wages, real wages, which are they're going up every month now, real wages. People don't get this. The Republicans, it's kind of like Musk not telling people about FSD. We got the president not telling people that month after month after month, real wages are going up, and people need to hear that. This because we've had years and years of real wages going down for the folks. Number five, it counters unfair trade practices. Tariffs push back against subsidies, non-tariff barriers, and low wage or slave labor systems in countries like China. Number six, it enhances national and economic security because we bring in critical industries, rare earths, semiconductors, pharmaceuticals even. I mean, you can't have your pharmaceutical industry beholden to another country, especially one that could be an adversary. It brings back to the U.S. reliance on, again, reliance on people that could be adversarial in the future. Number seven, it lowers the U.S. trade deficit. By discouraging imports and promoting domestic production, tariffs shrink chronic trade imbalances. And then it encourages the consumers to shift to American goods. Consumers would probably prefer to buy American if they could, but it's just crazy. You go in and you got something that's $1.99 from a U.S. source and the same product or equivalent, or maybe even a better product for 79 cents. You're going to buy the foreign product. You're not even going to pay attention. It serves as a power negotiation tool. Trump pointed this out in his talk last night on 60 Minutes. By the way, did you watch that talk? I was shocked. It's like, oh, this is a different 60 Minutes. They're not like being aggressive and nasty. They're just asking great questions and getting answers and interrupting a little bit, but you got to interrupt Trump or he'll just go on and on and on. Then you got, yeah, it serves as power negotiation tool. You got problems with a trading partner. You got problems with a couple of countries over there that are trying to go to war together. Oh, you go over to those two countries and you go, you want to do business with the U.S.? Stop the war. And on 60 Minutes, he points out he stopped 7 wars in 7 months. Or is it 8 wars in 8 months? I don't know. It's getting crazy. Number 10, it has minimal inflationary impact on Americans. Past tariffs raised prices by just 0.7%, but those are price increases, so they do not impact inflation. Right now, according to Bessent, I'm not to Bessent, well, Bessent too, I think, but Powell is the one I've heard say it over and over again, and you've heard me say it over again. It's going to be 0.4 to 0.6% of the total CPI this year. That's all. So if it comes in at 3%, that means it's really around 2.5. The betting markets right now are uniformly betting that there's only a 35% chance of a yes from the Supreme Court. The betting markets are saying there's a 65% chance that the Supreme Court is going to say no. Now that corresponds to a bunch of lawyers who have chimed in. I guess they've taking polls or whatever of lawyers, and the lawyers have a 65-35 split, which might be what the betting markets are betting on. Okay, I'm thinking this is another one I should take a bet on because I think SCOTUS is going to be okay with it. Maybe in part, maybe not in whole. We'll see. Now, Bessent says that this will merely cause a shift in the strategy to claim that they will claim that the tariffs are legal under other congressional authorization. There are at least 5 other avenues that the president can take. Now, they're already doing this in advance. Some of these are already being shifted over and using authorizations under other congressional things. Well, the S&P Global U.S. Manufacturing Purchasing Managers Index came in this morning, recorded a 52.5 in October compared to a 52 in September. That signaled a third successive month that the PMI has posted above the critical 50 no change mark and is indicative of a solid improvement in operating conditions. The PMI was supported in October by concurrent and accelerated gains in both output and new orders. Production was increased at a solid pace, while the gain in new orders was the best recorded in 20 months. The gain in new orders was the best recorded in 20 months. Growth in new work has been registered consistently throughout the year to date, but to varying degrees, and the uplift in market demand and success in securing new contracts has been consistent. However, October's growth was increasingly reliant on the domestic market as new export orders faltered. You got China in a slump, you've got Europe in a slump, you got Japan in a slump. So you're not going to be surprised that exports are going to be down somewhat. Exports declined for a 4th successive month, and to the greatest degree since July. Tariffs reportedly remain the primary driver behind the drop in exports, with sales declining to a key markets such as Canada, China, Europe, and Mexico. Tariffs also remain a dominant theme in the firm's assessment of business conditions. Of course, according to Chris Williamson, chief business economist, of course, these folks are liberal, and so he's going to throw some cold water on this. He says U.S. manufacturers reported a solid start to the fourth quarter, with production rising at an increased rate in response to encouragingly robust jump in new orders. However, lift the hood and the picture's not so healthy. Most worrying is the unprecedented rise in unsold stock reported in October, widely linked to weaker than anticipated sales to customers, especially in export markets, which could trigger a downshifting of production in the coming months. However, companies have also become less optimistic about the year ahead, with sentiment back down close to the gloomy levels seen around the April tariff, but actually still up, he doesn't mention. U.S. trade policy uncertainties are still a big factor in dampening business spirits, with tariff policies being increasingly blamed both for rising export losses and import supply chain disruptions. Well, yeah, like I said, I'm going to report that to you because I think it's only fair to give the other side. The POTUS is still at 45% this morning. A lot of people have them at 39, 38. But remember, this is Rasmussen, and Rasmussen has been correct by far the most of any polling agency over the last three elections. They were number one in one of the elections and number two in the other two elections. Truflation this morning is up a little bit more to 2.7, goods at 2.89, core at 2.46, services at 2.62. That's quite a jump up. And PCE at 2.75, which is also a pretty decent increase. So we'll be paying really close attention to that over the next few days. All right, so that big run up on Tesla this morning has cooled off just a little bit, but not bad. Still sitting at 267.91. That's up 2.48. We were, I think, as high as 272. Let's take a look there. I'm sorry, 470. Went as high as 474, actually. But I'm going to guess. Here's my guess. This is a guess, not a call. My guess is we've been 474 today. We're going back to 474. If not today, tomorrow. That's my guess. Just a guess. Gut feeling. Dow Jones down 0.77. NASDAQ up 0.27 on strong NVIDIA increase this morning. S&P, and apparently a strong Tesla increase. S&P is down a little bit, down 0.2. It was up earlier. We've got the Magnificent Seven a little bit mixed with Apple and Meta down, but NVIDIA up 2.5 this morning. All right, we got the VIX up a little bit, up 3.96%, back up to 18, which is getting a little bit on the bearish side, but still fairly bullish. And then you've got the Cathie Woods are all down because, yes, you guessed it. Let's go take a look. The bonds, for some reason this morning, decided they had enough going of the rally. Oh, well, that's better than it was. Well, let's see. Things are changing in front of me. Yeah, no, it's still bad. We're 4.10, but earlier we were at 4.11. So this is at least improving from what it was this morning, but it's unchanged from Friday night's final numbers at 4. Now it is under 10 at 4.099. Keep going, keep going. Let's keep that rally going. You've got oil this morning down 20 cents. It's still right in the same range, 60.78. Here you got natural gas up another 1% to $4.17. Okay, so I took a deep dive on natural gas. This is about exports. So Europe has already had some cold weather. I think Larry mentioned that, and I blew him off, actually. I want to be honest, because he sounded like he was just going, oh, maybe he'd already read it. But I'm sorry, Larry, that I blew you off. Anyway, that's cold snap in Europe. So exports of natural gas really up there, really, really solid. And they're also predicting a colder winter for the U.S. Starting in late December, January. Right now, it's quite nice, it looks like. But coming up, they're predicting colder weather. And so that's part of the reason natural gas is going up. Now, apparently, there's lots of reserves, plenty of inventory. But overall, the market is obviously taking a look at this and going, hey, it needs to be higher. Gold this morning up 1.07 to 4,039. So back above, obviously back above 4,000. Silver up not quite as much, up 0.67. at 48.48, and copper down 0.36, but $5.07, pretty much where it's been. What about the dollar? Well, I did a long report last night. If you want to go back and check it out, I did a long report last night on the dollar, but the dollar is doing just fine, thank you, against a big basket of currencies. It's pretty much up. It's pretty much above normal. And against the small basket of currencies, like just the top 6 or 7, whatever it is actually about where it was in 2023. So not really that bad. All right. So we've got Bitcoin down 4,140. What did I say earlier? Into gold, out of Bitcoin, into gold, out of bonds. Don't know. Don't get it. I don't have a call on that right now. So Bitcoin back down to 105,859. Ethereum is following it, even double, down 6.11% at 3,619. Now, again, it could be, my point all along has been it doesn't take much to bring this market to its knees. And we might be this could be a place where we get a big pull off and then maybe a recovery after that. We'll see. All right. So that's where markets are right now. Check Tesla here again in a minute. But it is, yeah. So coming up later today, as far as I know, we got Larry Goldberg, who's traveling, but I think we've got him coming up. Brian White, I know, is coming up. I got Brian Wang really itching to talk this morning about what's happening with these chips, what could be happening. I got some ideas of my own. I might try to get Brian Wang on later today and push Brian White's programs off till Tuesday. We'll see what happens on that. Last night, Brian Wang gave us the beginning of the story. And also, we were predicting what's going to happen over the next couple of weeks, the next couple of months, and the next year with regard to Tesla stock. You want to go back and watch that. I'm going to put the card right here. I'm just highly recommending. Very, very good program with Brian Wang last night. And I just pronounced his name Wang again. It's Wang. It's really hard. We don't have that vowel in the English language, so it's very hard for us to say. All right. Yeah. So Tesla, I'm sorry. Did I miss anything that I wanted to tell you? No, I think that's all. Tesla at 468.57. I think that's exactly where it was last time I told you. So I'm happy with 468.57 at this point this week. I think you probably are too. That's all I got. So let's say adieu for now. It's been great talking to you.